I just wanna let you in. Let's take.
Hello ladies and welcome back. Or if you're new here, welcome, hello. My name is Samantha and it is great to have you. I upload new videos every single Sunday. So if you are not yet subscribed, hit that button down below and join us here on my channel. So as you can tell from the title of this video, today we're doing a casual chit chat story time about how I accidentally went semi-viral on TikTok. I never foresaw that happening, did not expect it, did not plan it, did not orchestrate it. But within a 2-day period, I garnered probably about 2 million views on a bunch of videos, and I gained about 8,000 followers. When I posted about the story that led to me making these TikToks, I did have quite a few followers and subscribers say that they do want to hear the story, but they don't really enjoy using TikTok. So for everybody who was interested to hear what happened to me, what went on in the TikToks, this is the video for you. So the story begins in New York, as all good stories do. I was in New York for a doctor's appointment last week, and because the only thing I was there to do was to see a doctor, I had lots of free time on my hands. So because of this, I figured one day, let me get glam, let me put on some cute clothes that I just ordered, and I'll go out, take some photos, and then flex for the gram. This dress being the item that I chose to wear for my photos. It's super cute. It's from Tula Rosa. I bought it off of Revolve, and I'm pretty sure it's on sale right now. So in case you're curious, you can find a link in the description and you can pick yourself up one of these dresses because they are super cute. However, they do garner a lot of attention. Something about this dress just screamed catcall me. I was getting attention from men left, right, and center. Normally, I'm the type of person to take that with a grain of salt. I don't allow that to really get to me, and as long as you're decently respectful, I don't care if you have something to say to me or you want to look at me or whatever. The issue arises when men don't know how to take a look, give a compliment, and then go about their day. So while I was in New York taking my photos for Instagram, this man walks past me very, very slowly, and he has on a pair of sunglasses. And despite his sunglasses, it's very obvious to tell that he's looking at me. So I turn and I look back at him. And as I do this, he lifts up his sunglasses, puts them on top of his head, walks a couple steps, stops, crosses his arms, and just looks at me. And at this point, I'm like, this is really weird. You're awfully confident in the fact that you can just stare at me and I'm going to be okay with it. Like, because I'm the person I am, I wasn't going to let this weirdo looking at me change my plans. My plan was to come and get some photos with some super cute tulips and go about my day. So that is what I intended to do. So I'm continuing taking my photos. They're turning out okay, but like I'm not totally happy with the location I'm shooting in. So I decide to walk across the street where there are more tulips and it's just a nicer situation. So I think that that would be a good option for me. However, this man has now migrated to across the street where I was hoping to go take photos. And again, I'm not the type of person to allow a man to dictate what I do. So I was like, you know what? Kind of anxious, but this was my plan and I'm gonna stick to it. So I walk across the street and I walk past him because it was impossible not to. And I turn to him and I say, you know, staring at women is really rude. We don't enjoy it. You could just say, hey, you're cute, you're beautiful, have a nice day, can I have your number? And then go about your day. But staring at us is really rude and we don't enjoy it. And in response, he's like, "Oh, but you're so beautiful." And I'm like, "Thank you, but do not stare at me." And I walk away, going to continue to take my photos. So I foolishly believed that because I confronted this man, he would get the message and GTFO. But spoiler alert, he did not get the message and he did not GTFO. So I continue taking my photos and I'm sitting on a bench by some tulips. I'm just minding my own business, trying to calm myself down from the interaction that I just had. It wasn't that serious, but if you are a woman who's had men creep around you, you know how anxiety-inducing that can be. So I'm just doing my best to like remain composure, keep cute, and get my photos. When I notice that this man has perched himself behind a statue about 15 feet away from me. He is obviously trying to hide because his entire body is behind the statue, but his head is peeked out like this, looking at me, and he has his phone out like he's taking photos of me. And at this point, I'm like, oh my God, like you have no sense of respect for strangers. This is just outrageous. Assuming that he was going to leave after I confronted him was wishful thinking. But the fact that he took it a step further and continued to stare at me while trying to take my photo is just like next level creep behavior. So now I have this guy watching me from 15 feet away from me, taking photos of me and just lingering in my space. I was very, very uncomfortable, but because men are so predictable, I had a general idea of how things were going to play out from this point. My hypothesis was that as soon as I put my phone down and directed my attention elsewhere, he would come over and approach me. So I put my phone down and I pick up my vlogging camera. I also press record on my phone so it starts a video. I'm casually holding my phone to the side and scrolling through the old photos on my vlogging camera. And not even 30 seconds later, this man hops up and makes his way towards me. At this point, I'm like bracing myself because I have no idea which direction this is going to go. So he comes up to me and he says, "Hi," and I say, "Hi, are you going to apologize for staring at me for 15 minutes? Because at this point, it was 15-20 minutes that he had been following me around and just like stalking me low key. And I honestly don't even remember what he said to me because I'm pretty sure I was in fight or flight mode, but whatever he said was not an apology. Instead, he decides to sit down next to me, super close, and try and spark a conversation. I was actually kind of shocked by that because you have to be pretty bold to go up and like seat yourself right next to a stranger who just explicitly told you to get out of their business. Like, kudos for you and your bravery, but it is misplaced and you should never do that again. So he sits down next to me and he begins to try and solicit my information. Like, he keeps on asking me, "What's your name? What's your number?" I say, "I'm not going to give you my name. I'm not going to give you my number." And he asks again. Like, he was not getting the message and it was so frustrating. And if you want to see this part of the conversation, you do need to go to my TikTok because I'm not going to bother including the video here because it's just a minute long. Like, click the link in the description, watch that one video, and you will see what I mean. This man was not getting the point. He was so annoying, he was so creepy, and I wish I would have punched him in the face. And near the end of our conversation, he asks me for like the 4th time if he can have my number. And I say, "No, you cannot have my number, especially because you keep on staring at my chest." The entire time he was trying to talk to me, his eyes were laser focused on my breasts, and he just thought that I would not notice. So I told him, not only are women beautiful, but we're smart too, and we can tell when men are staring at our breasts. So at this point, I was fed the fuck up. So I stand up and I say, you know, I don't have time to chat nor get stared at all day. And I walked away from him, and I was shaking the entire time, both with anxiety and with rage. It was a 50-50 mix. So I walk back to my hotel room and I'm like trying to calm down, but I'm still upset. So I was like, let me vent about this on Instagram. And then I remembered, I have TikTok, and if I post the videos on TikTok, they're actually there permanently, and they'll probably reach more people than me just posting to my story on Instagram. So that's what I did, and that's how I ended up going accidentally viral. Now, something I wasn't prepared for was the amount of young girls, like girls under the age of 15, some under the age of 10, telling me that they've been in situations like the one I was in. And that just broke my heart. Like, I've always known that men are predatory, and frankly, I've never really expected too much of them. But to hear girls under the age of 10 saying, this happened to me too, and I was so scared, it just broke my heart. So I'm really glad I shared the video, because it did show a lot of young girls that it is possible to stand up for yourself, and you don't need to tolerate street harassment from strangers. I did, of course, tell them that if you're not feeling safe, you are not obligated to stand up to a man in the way that I did. Number one priority should be your safety. So it was really interesting. It was really surreal, because I did not expect that much recognition in such a short amount of time. But I'm so glad I did, honestly, not for the vanity metric of saying, oh, I got this many views in this many hours, but for the fact that I had so many girls and women reach out to me and say, thank you for saying this. I haven't been able to put words to how I feel, but you expressed it perfectly. Or, you would make an amazing big sister. You're teaching very important things to young girls. I've even had guys, young guys, send me messages and say, how should I handle these situations when my friends are doing things like this? Like, it's just started a really good conversation, and I'm so happy. Like, if anything good can come out of a man harassing a woman on the street, it's a conversation, and that is what happened. So again, I'm just really happy with how things turned out, despite the fact that Daniel would not take a fucking hint. It's led to a lot of people opening their eyes to a problem that has existed to the majority of us for our entire lives. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next one.